Welcome back to the Full Force Fathers podcast. I am so happy to be here with my co-host Dave today. We got episode number 36. It is going to be a tremendous episode. Dave, how are you doing today, buddy?
Crux of November, things are good, although I'm wearing long sleeves again this week. I'm not too enthusiastic about that. I miss the hot, dry temperatures of Arizona right now. It's a little chilly for me.
Yeah, no, it's we've had, out here in Southern Virginia, we've had some amazing weather. We've had 80s, 70s. We just got through that hurricane that came into Florida. We got a bunch of rain a few days ago. But the weather, listen, I can't complain. The weather, I do have a hoodie on because the weather has kind of turned here a little bit as well. But the fact of the matter is we're in the middle of November and I can still wear shorts every day. That is a win for me.
I think Broadnax is the San Diego of the East Coast. Would you agree?
Yeah, pretty much. 75 and, we only like cloudy days when we record. That's what I like to say.
That's right.
Yeah. So anyways, we got a great episode on tap for you today, episode number 36. Let's start with some famous number 36, and I'm going to take it today first with these numbers because there is one number 36 that automatically makes this a one seed, whether you believe it or not. I don't care about the famous athletes. My dad was number 36. That is his number. He has a Cardinals jersey framed on the wall in his office. Number 36 is not my favorite number. I am a number 4 guy. That was my brother's number. But number 36 was my dad's number. So that automatically moves it to the top of the list for me. Dave, what else we got for number 36s? Because I could sit here and talk about my dad all day long.
I know. I didn't know that. You had never told me that. And I didn't know it until just before we hit record when I opened it up and you had added a couple to the list because I had gone in and punched in most of them. And I saw your dad. I was like, that is so cool. What an awesome thing. That's awesome. The rest of the list is a little bit subpar, not going to lie. But that being said, there's a couple really good ones. And I think probably the best out of the list is the bus. Jerome Bettis from his years in Pittsburgh. My God, What a beast he was running the football. He looked like anything but a running back. I mean, I would say he looked a lot more like a fullback than anything else, or possibly a lineman at times. But I mean, he was a bus. He would just run people over, truck people down. That team was pretty good when he was in the running back position. So Jerome Bettis is right there at the top of the list. How about a Patriot, Lawyer Milloy? Remember him back in the day?
Yep, I do.
Yeah, he was good on the defensive side of the ball. That's all I had for football. And I took one from basketball, Rasheed Wallace. I think he's got the most technical fouls in NBA history, I believe, which is hard to believe because Dennis Rodman also played in the NBA and got a lot of tees. But Rasheed Wallace, he was a maniac. He was an absolute maniac. So he's on the list. And I threw one in here, and I'll let you pick it back up. Matthew Barnaby from the hockey world. Now, the only reason I know that is because I used to work with him at ESPN. He did some of our hockey coverage, him and Barry Melrose. And Matthew was a cool dude. And as I got to know him, I found out he was an enforcer in the NHL. And I wasn't a big NHL guy, so I didn't really know what that meant. But basically, he was sent in for a lot of fights. And I tallied up the amount of fights he had in his NHL career. Why don't you just throw a number out at me? What would you think somebody in the NHL would have over their career for fights?
I'd say, let's say 75. I don't know. I'm just throwing a guess.
Yeah, he had 211. He was involved in 211 fights.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. You're in the NHL, you play a professional sport, and you're known as an enforcer, and you just go and you kick the crap out of people on the ice.
Hockey would be the only sport that would even be remotely like a position. You're like basketball's got your center and your guard. Baseball's got a pitcher and a catcher. Hockey has an enforcer. And let's just give love to hockey for a second, because you and I were both not hockey people, but it has got to be the hardest sport to be great at. Dude, you have to learn how to be a crazy good athlete, and you have to do it on ice skates, on this little razor-thin eighth of an inch slice of metal that could cut your hand off if you skate over somebody.
Yeah, and a puck, a little piece of just solid. Like, have you ever held a hockey puck? Like, it is just, I mean, it's like it's probably harder than a baseball. and it's just coming whizzing at you off of a stick from any angle. It could bounce off of the glass and come back at you. I mean, it's a ridiculous sport. I respect it very much. It's not my favorite. I do enjoy watching playoff hockey. I think that's next level. But we lost the Whalers when we were relatively young in Hartford. So I did enjoy going to the Whalers games. Those were fun. It's still one of the most sold logos of all time. You can still find it when you stroll through Bradley Airport or different places in Connecticut. You can find the old Whalers logo. But yeah, so cheers, Matthew Barnaby. Hats off to you. 211 fights. That's pretty cool.
That's tremendous stuff. And yeah, and I mean, let's continue the theme of where this would fall in as a seed in a tournament. Outside of my dad, he's like the superstar on the team. This is not a very popular number, which is kind of crazy to me. And if we really did a little more research, we may find some other 36s. But the problem that we seem to be running into here, because once again, Shaq wore 36 in Boston. He was the big Shamrock. Rasheed Wallace wore 36, but he also wore number 30, I'm pretty sure. So in basketball especially, a lot of these guys wear multiple numbers throughout their careers, even the greats. I mean, Jordan wore 2 numbers. He was 23 and 45. Pippen never wore 2, I don't think.
Kobe wore 2 numbers.
Kobe wore 2. LeBron's worn 2. Durant's worn 2. A lot of these guys, maybe Steph Curry has never worn 2. I'm not sure. So it's really hard to find lock and stock people that wore the same number their entire career. Because a lot of guys, especially in the NFL, if you're number 7 and then you move to another team, there's a good chance you're not getting that number because someone else already has it. This is 36 is respectable. I think my dad carries the weight of the number in the tournament that we play in. Maybe a Cinderella story and he gets an upset. No, I'm with you, man. Hockey is tremendous. The puck is dangerous. Even people in the crowd at hockey matches, it's dangerous. That thing comes flinging out, could kill you. People have been seriously hurt or killed by the hockey puck when it comes out of the ring. Imagine being in there with that thing whizzing at you about 50, 60 miles, 100 miles an hour, depending on how hard they slap shot that shit. Hell no. No, thank you. But
no, that's not the game for me. Nope.
No. Listen, I'm an athlete. I've been on ice skates before. I guess I could technically say I know how to ice skate. I could ice skate without falling down. But let me tell you, when you were a kid, we used to go over, and this is anyone in Connecticut listening, we used to go to the Simsbury skating rink because that was where there was a nice indoor skating rink. So on Fridays and Saturdays, if we had nothing to do, we'd go ice skating. My mom would take us over to go ice skating. And when you fall down on ice skates, it hurts way more than if you just fall down. It's like landing on concrete when you land on the ice. It's always your tailbone or your
and then
elbow.
You slide a little further and then smack your head.
Oh, it's awful. Ice skating is not for me. Figure skates, hockey skates, they're uncomfortable, but hats off to hockey players for what they do because they are significantly tougher than I am. I can tell you that. But moving on. I want to hop into today's Bible verse. This one is it's a really, I don't know, all Bible verses are good to me. But this one, recently I read it, and it struck a chord. I think it really has with society as a whole and everything. And I'm going to read it. So it's for those that follow along, grab your Bible. We're in James. We're in the book of James, first chapter. And I have 2 verses today. They're in the same essential section of the chapter. And chapter 1, verse 19 is the first one. And then verse 26 is the second one. And it starts like this. My dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to become angry, because human anger does not produce the righteousness that God desires. Okay? Big notes to take out of that. Quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to become angry. Drop it down to verse 26. Those who consider themselves religious and yet do not keep a tight rein on their tongues deceive themselves, and their religion is worthless. Now, this is just a lesson in general. This is a great life lesson, whether you read this from the Bible or if you heard it somewhere else. Quick to listen, slow to speak. Adding slow to get anger in there is huge as well. But in today's society, everybody with social media and internet and cell phones, everybody is a keyboard warrior. Everybody reacts, Dave, right? It's just an instant reaction in this world versus letting it come to you, taking a deep breath, listening through versus jumping. How many times, even in everyday conversation, where someone's in the middle of a sentence and you cut them off? You just don't, I do it. I'm guilty of it. You just don't shut up and listen. So listen more, slow down.
That's 100% true. And I think there's a reason why people say chill out, calm down, those types of things, because if you do take a moment and you just kind of hold what you want to say, you are less likely to become angry. You have a chance to process something, think about something. You don't say something you shouldn't. You don't get angry. And those things are important. So I think that speaks volumes to that.
Yeah. And, in the second part of this, it ties into the slow to speak part, right? Those who consider themselves religious and yet do not keep a tight rein on their tongues deceive themselves, which is so true, because I don't think, it speaks of your tongue in the Bible it speaks of it in multiple areas. Chad Wright, the great Chad Wright, former Navy SEAL, he says that his tongue is his rudder. It controls everything, right? Your tongue controls everything that comes out of your mouth. Because if you cut your tongue out, you can't talk. It controls everything. So all your processes in your brain, unless you're deaf or you're blind, it comes from your mouth, right? That's how you relay all your information. So being slow to speak, being calculated when you speak versus just out of anger, which just causes so many more problems when you're angry. You know that. We both get angry from time to time with our whatever, work, kids, spouses. That is a part of life, right? Maybe you with your kids a little bit more than me. I don't know. Let's see. That's, left to be decided. But, our tongue is our rudder. Our tongue does control so many of our emotions and our reactions. Obviously there's physical reaction if you fight somebody or something along those lines. But from an emotional and an emotional reaction standpoint from something, a conversation, it all is controlled by your tongue. And it's very important. That's why it's quick to listen, slow to speak, I'd say even slower to get angry.
Yeah, I would agree. It's so important just to kind of keep yourself in check and realize kind of the levity of the situation and be able to, control your emotions there to be able to process, like I said, what's happening. Make sure you're listening to everything, because a lot of times I'm guilty of this. I'll jump in and say something before I've listened to the whole thing. And if I had listened to the whole thing, I would have gotten my answer. Maybe I would have gotten angry too. So I think that's great choice today.
Yeah, no. And so today's episode, we got a bunch of little things to talk about. We have a couple topics we want to touch base on, but I want to start off. Listen, Thanksgiving Day is 2 weeks away. I want to start off with things that I'm grateful for right now. And this is just something I put in the show notes. If there's anything you want to add, go ahead after I run down my list. But there's just some things that I want to be thankful for and grateful for. First of all, I'm grateful for you, Dave. You just had a birthday last week, so happy birthday. I know you don't give yourself any credit, but you just had a birthday. You're 45 now, so congratulations, happy birthday. And
you're an asshole. 45.
How old are you actually, Dave?
Oh man. Oh God, I'm 39.
Okay, close enough.
I am 39 now, so I am right on the cusp. Not close enough. Ridiculous.
The second thing, Veterans Day was just a few days ago. So thank you to all the veterans. We appreciate your service. We're allowed to do things like this because of our veterans that protect us. We get as the saying goes, we get to go to sleep at night because of our military. They keep us protected around the clock, around the world. So thank you to the veterans. We so appreciate you very much so. The next thing that I'm thankful for is, I don't know if you guys all know that I'm in the mortgage industry. Last Thursday, so 5 days ago, the inflation report came out and it came down lower. I am so grateful for that, because if you know me and you know my industry, when inflation is super high like it's been off the charts, interest rates are super high off the charts. So I'm grateful that inflation is starting to come down, starting to subside a little bit. We're not out of the woods yet, but at least I'm thankful for it, because it helps. My main goal is people want to buy homes and they want to buy their forever home or their second home. And without a little bit of help from interest rates. Sometimes it's not possible for that person to buy because they just don't qualify. So interest rates coming down is a great thing for me. Okay. Another thing I'm grateful for, Dave, the election is finally over. They're probably still counting votes somewhere. Who the hell knows? But I know the election is over. It happened a week ago. Thank the Lord above. No more political bullshit ads. No more idiots on Facebook that are fighting back and forth. I am just so grateful. If your candidate won, great. If your candidate lost, great. And I say that because guess what? Dave, I'm going to let you take it. Why does it not matter who wins or loses in the grand scheme of things?
Because no one's going to save you, especially from the government. If you're waiting on somebody from the government to save you, you're screwed. You've got no chance whatsoever. So you are the only one who can control you. It doesn't matter. Quite honestly, it doesn't matter. Yes. Do things come out of the election? Yes. People are, cost of goods might be higher. Cost of goods might be lower depending on who won. Who knows? Gas might go up. Gas might go down. That thing is just going to roll like this for the rest of time because it is what it is, the old cliche, which a lot of people hate, but it is what it is. But you are the only one who controls what you do. You control if you wake up in the morning, what you do when you wake up in the morning. You control what you do at work, how much effort you put in. You control your fitness, your finances, your faith. You control all of it. You can't rely on anybody else.
Abso-fucking-lutely. Pardon my French. Okay. The next thing, something else that I'm personally thankful for. Dave, as you know, those of you who have listened, Dave and I have done 75 Hard. I have never done the full Live Hard program. Dave has. So I am currently in phase 1 of 75 Hard. All right. I did 75 Hard late summer into the fall. I started phase 1. I am on day 25 of phase 1. And let me tell you, I hate cold showers. I love cold pools. I love cold lakes. I love when the ocean's cold. Cold showers are the worst thing in the world. They're great for you, and I understand the benefit of it. But part of phase 1, if those of you that don't know, you have to add on certain tasks to the regular old 75 Hard. And one of those tasks is a 5-minute cold shower, no questions asked. You have to stand in the water for 5 minutes. It's not spray yourself off with the hose and you're done, or go in the shower and then, you really got to stand in the water for 5 minutes. It's awful, Dave. Tell me about your experience with cold showers.
Cold showers is awful. I will say, because as you know, water in Arizona doesn't get that cold. But when I did phase 1, it was in January and into February. So the water was pretty cold here. That being said, I don't know how you feel about it. I felt that after I got past day 15, the showers felt a little bit warmer to me because I was getting to the end. Now, I don't know. Maybe they feel progressively worse for you because you've been doing them longer. But for me, when I got about halfway through, every cold shower is like, all right, now I'm on the backside now. I'm getting closer to a hot shower again. So it didn't feel as bad to me. Mentally, that's what I told myself to make it not so miserable, because it's miserable. For some reason, I don't feel like I get as clean when the water's cold. Like usually hot water kills stuff, that's why you wash dishes in hot water, things like that. I don't know. I would basically stand there in the cold, and I'd kind of do my hair or whatever, and then I'd let it. Once the 5 minutes was over, I'd crank it and thaw myself out, and then try and warm myself up before I got out because it was awful.
Yeah, some of these, listen, since day 1, every day I've gone, all right, day 1's done, only 29 to go. Day 5's done, only 25 to go. Today's day 25. I got 5 to go. It's really, I think I've done phase 1. I never did the whole Live Hard program. I did phase 1 and phase 2. I never finished phase 3 last year. Phase 1 in Arizona was like late summer. So it was kind of like cheating, because in the summer, you can't get cold water in Arizona. I don't care. Even if you take a shower at 5 in the morning, the water's not cold. It's 100 degrees outside. It's 75 or 80 overnight. So the water just never gets cold. Here, it hits different. We have a deep well, and the water is fucking frigid, dude. It is awful. I'm telling you, my water, if ice crystals could come out of the shower head, they come out of the shower head. All right. So cold showers suck, but I'm getting through them every day. I've been doing them at night, which I kind of like, because the nights have been cooler. So I'm taking my cold shower, and then when I get out of the shower, I'm throwing on a pair of fleece pants or pajama pants or whatever, and a t-shirt and a hoodie, and I got my slippers. And before we camp out on the couch to watch a show or something with the girls. So the actual 5 minutes of the shower is not enjoyable, but I do enjoy the fact that I can throw a hoodie on and a pair of sweatpants, and I'm not like boiling over from sweat and whatnot afterwards.
Yeah. No, you're right at the end of it. So you got some warm showers on the horizon. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. And the other thing, I don't crank it to hot afterwards. So the couple times through the month if I shave in the shower, I shave first and then I crank it to cold. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of feeling really cold and then flipping it back to hot. I just get the shave done in the shower quick and then flip it over to cold. Yeah, either way, phase 1, day 25 of me. I'm grateful. I only got 5 days left to go. Okay. The other thing, Dave, and let's talk about personal hygiene here, or whatever you would consider a beard. Okay. Everyone, there's always like some crazy month, right? Sober October. For me, it's been sober 2 years, but November, the big thing for guys is no shave November. That's like been this trendy, cool thing that's been going around on the internet or whatever for years now. I am not a beard guy. Dave, you're a beard guy. I decided to grow just a little goatee. As if you're watching this on YouTube, I can grow a huge beard like Jesus if I wanted to, but I don't. And Dean doesn't like it when I have any kind of facial hair. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't like the itchiness of it. So my contribution to No Shave November is my goatee on my chin. Dave, any thoughts? I need to hear it from a beard guy. Do you have any thoughts?
I mean, it's starting to come in there. We'll see how it looks in a few days, maybe a couple of weeks. I mean, you're just going to, maybe you should just get it going down here. Just keep it going. Why is it just got to be November? I mean, you got that rat's nest thing going on the top of your head that you got covered with a hat today. And then you can have one like really tall one off the top, and you can have one really long, kind of like a goat.
Well, that's why I call it goatee, right? Like, listen, No Shave November.
But with the top, man, you got the top too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it'd be perfect. I mean, for those of you that follow, know I'm growing my hair out on YouTube. It's getting really long. This is really long for me. And there's a reason for this. Miss Finley, as you all know, my 4-year-old, has been begging me for months and months and months to grow my hair, to not cut my hair. And guess what? When the baby wants something, most of the time the baby gets what they want. So I told her I have a deal with my 4-year-old. Once I get to be able to actually put it up in a man bun, then I'm cutting it off. That's the deal. I still think she's going to renege on the deal. Once I'm able to do it, she's not going to want me to cut it, but I'm going to cut it. So I'm thinking sometime by January, February of next year, I will literally be able to throw my hair up on the top, throw a little elastic in there, have this cute little man bun on the top, and then she'll be satisfied. We'll take a bunch of pictures on it with my balding 36-year-old head, then chop it right off.
Yeah. God, I hope you chop it off.
So, Dave, now that I've kind of gone through a little list of just grateful items, once again, Thanksgiving's only a few days away. Do you have anything that you're grateful for currently? I mean, there's a lot. Okay, first of all, let me preface this because I don't want to. I'm not going to leak anything. I have sources. Blah 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 blah. We have a wild couple of months coming up, and we'll be able to relay more details to you guys soon enough on the show. But Dave and I both have some exciting stuff going on. We got and we'll leave it at that. But it's going to be a wild couple of months for us with some major changes in both of our lives, which we're super excited for. We're super grateful for. But is there anything in specific that you want to expand on in terms of, hey, I gave a list of 6 or 7 things I'm grateful for. Now, is there anything that you want to throw in there? Because that was totally off the cuff. That was not planned in the show.
Yeah, that was off the cuff. You caught me a little bit by surprise there. One of the things I'd say I'm grateful for is just opportunities, right? Opportunities to do the things that we want to do. The opportunity to be able to do this show with you is something that's, an amazing thing that we've been able to do now for quite a while, which is awesome. Opportunities for, doing different jobs. Like I'm close to wrapping up the football season. I got to do another season of Texas Game Day in Austin. How awesome is that? I get to freelance direct. I fly into Austin, do something that I absolutely love to do every week. And I do that for 12 weeks. I mean, those are really cool. Got some exciting career news on my side that I will be sharing very soon. Not quite ready to release it yet, but it is. It's some really exciting news. So I'm very grateful for opportunity, grateful for family, grateful for friends. We've got some great family and friends, both, here in Arizona and then also, Connecticut, all over the place. So just grateful for what life has provided for us. because I know it can, there's ebbs and flows, there's ups and downs, but very grateful for the things that we have.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, and there are a few rumors. The rumor mill's been stirred a little bit. I've been getting some text messages saying, "Hey, what's this?" And I just say, "Hey, you know what I said last night when I got a text message from a really, close friend of ours, close family friend of ours, and I got hey, I heard a rumor." And all I said was, "That's an interesting rumor." That's all I said back. Excuse me. I said, "Yeah, that's an interesting rumor." So we'll see. The rumor mill's a swirling right now.
Maybe it was a rumor. Maybe it's not. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you don't, I don't know.
Yeah, the rumor mill's been swirling around the Aragoni and the Thornton household lately. So we'll see what comes of it. So anyway, so let's talk a little bit about a few things we want to talk about today. Dave and I were talking. We didn't want to write like paragraphs in the show notes today. We kind of just wanted to expand on a couple of those things. Actually, we just talked about. Do you want to start, Dave, or you want me to start on a couple of these things?
I'll start.
Yeah, okay.
You go back to the question. The question you asked me before is why can't you rely on, why can't you be confident in certain things like government, things like that, to change your life? Because you can't. You have to look yourself in the mirror and decide to make the change. If you're expecting that, the government's going to give you a handout or something, you're going to get a, tuition reimbursement. Maybe you get it, maybe you don't. Is $10,000 really going to change your life? Well, maybe if you got $9,500 in student loan debt, it will. But if you got $100,000, $200,000 in student loan debt, $10,000 isn't going to do anything. So you can make the choice to change. You can make the choice to be more financially responsible and do the things that you need to do to pay off your student loan debt. If you're unhealthy, the government's not going to give you any programs to help you lose weight. Okay, that ain't going to happen. In fact, as we saw during COVID, they shut down the gyms. They opened up McDonald's. They want you to be unhealthy because then you become reliant on them. So if you're expecting the government to help you be more physically fit, sadly mistaken. That's not going to happen either. So there's these different things, like whatever you want to be better at, you need to look at yourself and you need to say, I have to do this. I can do this. No one else is going to do it for you. Your spouse isn't going to do it for you. Your parents aren't going to do it for you. Your kids can't do it for you. You are the one that has to do it. And everybody wants an excuse. Everybody's looking for an excuse. Well, if the Republicans get power, everything's going to get better, man. Price of everything's going to come down. Newsflash, it's not.
Not going to happen.
A little bit, but it's not. I mean, I guarantee you when I drive past the gas station, whenever all the votes end up being counted, who the hell knows when that's going to be? Gas is still going to be super high. That's just what it is. It's going to take a long time for any of that stuff to change. And quite honestly, we're probably changing the floor on some things that things are never going to get below anymore. It's just going to continue to be that price moving forward. So, yeah, you could bitch and moan about it. You can say, it's the government. They have wrecked everything. Inflation's high. I can't get a raise at work. Why can't you get a raise at work? Are you in a terrible job? Maybe you need to find a new job. Or are you not putting in the effort to get a raise at work? Are you not putting in the effort and showing that you're better than the other person so that you can get a promotion? You've got to look at yourself. You've got to stop blaming other people, hoping for other people to make a difference in your life when, in fact, you're the only one who can do that. And I tried pushing this on the kids a lot because Kendall's in a weird spot right now. She's complaining about everything, lots of complaints. And I keep telling her, Kendall, you got to find the good things. You are the one who can control these things, not someone else. It doesn't matter what so-and-so does. It matters what you do. You can't let them dictate your life. You can't let what they say change how you go about your day and how you do your things. So, we as full force fathers need to help our children see that so that they can start doing this at a young age. Because if you start developing those habits of being reliant, dependent on other people and hoping that people are going to change your life, it's going to be a life of misery, quite frankly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I want to touch on two things that you said. The first thing, because it's fresh in my mind, you mentioned Kendall and complaining a lot and this and that and the other thing, right? I think after reading Smart Money, Smart Kids with Rachel Cruz and Ramsey, like they use the word in that book, it's called contentment, right? You're battling the monster of discontentment. Teaching our kids to be content with what they have, because listen, my kids are just like every other fucking kid on the planet. Dude, they're never satisfied, right? That's the generation. It is our job as parents to teach them to be content, to teach them, like we've mentioned in past episodes, a little bit of delayed gratification, right? You're talking about Kendall complaining a lot. My kids fight like cats and fucking dogs. And the other night, Andine, who, I'm usually the most vocal one in the family because I'm loud and I'm obnoxious. But Andine, when you get Andine red hot, when she gets running red hot, look out. And we were at the dinner table that night and the kids were fighting over something. No, okay, this is what it was. On Sunday night dinner, we let the girls take turns. Madison and Caroline, they go in on their computer and they print a Bible verse or a prayer that they want to have before dinner. And so before we sit down, because we live in the hustle and bustle of the real world, we don't sit down and say grace before every meal. I wish we did, but we don't. But we always make it a point on Sunday nights to say grace. Well, even that leads into an argument. Well, Caroline got to pick the article last week, and Madison got to pick the article this week. Oh, but we used those glasses last week, and Caroline wanted to use those for hers for this week. You know what I mean? And Andine literally stopped everybody. She goes, what is it going to take for you guys to be happy? You are ungrateful. You're acting very ungrateful. Be grateful that you have a meal on your table. Be grateful that you have two parents that love you. Be grateful that you have a computer that you can print that prayer out so we can do it as a family. And I look at it like this, and I don't know if this is true for you, but every time Madison and Caroline act out, that's a shitty example they're setting for Finley. And that is not good because Finley learns everything from them.
No.
Right? And I don't know if that's how it works. If Kendall, maybe the boy-girl thing, I don't know if the dynamic's different, but I'm sure Kendall misbehaving doesn't rub off on Bryce very well.
No, Bryce is a different cat. He does his own thing, so thankfully. But there are moments where he does things and we're like, that got picked up from his sister. There's no doubt about it. And, it's important to try and nip that in the bud because they are setting that example. And if the younger one sees the older ones behaving like that and seeing how you react as well makes a difference in what they do. But yeah, it's so important to try and set that example of, just being grateful for things. And you said it, how grateful they should be for the things that they have. It's hard. It's hard for kids in the sense that they don't know unless they see it, they don't know what something else looks like. Right. Just an example is like, if you have, parents who are together versus parents who are divorced or separated, that is something that they can see on the real level in their school when they see their kids and they realize, so-and-so doesn't have a dad at home, or they only live with their dad and their mom's out of the picture. They can see that and they can be grateful for that. But the other types of things, like you mentioned, being able to have a computer to print something off, being able to have two parents home for dinner every night, those things, until they see it, it's hard for them to process it. So you kind of really got to do a good job of teaching them and showing them, what the other side might look like, and so that they can be grateful and appreciate the things that they have while they have them, because there's no guarantee in life that you'll have those things forever.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. And I want to touch base on the second thing that you said earlier. When I asked you if there's anything off the cuff that you are grateful for, and you said the word opportunity, and I just instantly grabbed my phone because I had saved a quote in my phone last week or the week before, and I'm going to read this quote. It says, and it ties into everything about the government and working and you control your own destiny and whatnot. And it says, it's from the great Thomas Edison. And it says, opportunity is missed by most people. Opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and it looks like work. Okay. That quote can mean so many things on so many levels, but in the context of our discussion now, where I'm going to run with it. Nobody's coming to effing save you. End of story. I don't want to hear your pity party. Everybody's had it worse than you. If you think you've had it worse, somebody else has had it worse than you and made a change. If you are fat and overweight, it's your fault. Don't blame mommy and daddy. You need to get off your ass and do something about it. If you don't have a job, it's your fault. If you are able-bodied and you can work, okay, and you don't have some sort of disabled part that you can't work, that's a totally different context of the conversation. But if you are an able-bodied human and you don't have a job, it's your fault. Okay, because you can get a job anywhere. All right. If you want to be poor, you can be poor. If you want to be rich, you can be rich. Opportunities are endless, regardless of who is in power. You mentioned that Yeah, did some things change if it's a Republican or a Democrat in office? For sure it does. Taxes could be higher, taxes could be lower. But that's not an excuse to pity party, poo-poo pants. I can't get a job. I can't make any money because it's a Democrat in office. No, bullshit. You control your own destiny. Get your ass off the couch and go for a walk if you're unhealthy. All right? Cook something healthy. Stop going to McDonald's. You said with COVID, they kept McDonald's and liquor stores open and closed gyms. Okay, your gym's closed. Go outside. I did a workout this morning. I look like a hillbilly redneck out there. I had a weight vest on and 2 dumbbells in my hand with a tennis racket. Okay, don't tell me you can't do a workout. Just don't tell me that. Dave's laughing because he can totally see that image in his head. All right? It's me, a Dutch Shepherd dog, a tennis racket, a weight vest, and 2 old beat-up 25-pound dumbbells. And guess what? I got a better workout than any workout you're going to go pity partying because you couldn't get to the damn gym today, okay? You control it, everything. Nobody. The only man that's above all of us is the good Lord above. That's it. It's not Biden. It's not Trump. It's not DeSantis. It's not Harris. It's not Congress. It's not Senate. It's you. It's you and it's Lord above. You need to protect the fucking 4 most important things in your life. Your 4 walls, right, Dave? That's what everyone says all the time. You better be able to protect your 4 walls. And what's inside those 4 walls, if it's you, just you, great. If it's you and your wife, great. If it's you and your wife and your kids, great. But it's up to you. There's no one else that's going to do anything for you, okay? And to tie it into fitness, I've already said it. Get off your ass and go outside. To tie it into money, the stats don't lie. Don't bitch that you can't get rich, that you're poor, you're never going to prosper because so-and-so had it better than me. I don't know what the number is, Dave. You probably have a better idea of what the number is, but I know it's some astronomical percentage that most millionaires, I don't know a number, give it to me, that come from nothing, that are self-made. What's that percentage?
It's well over 90%.
Okay, so not over 90%. So no, you're not the anomaly. You're part of the big one, the big data. You're part of that 90. Just you didn't get an inheritance, you didn't get a trust fund. Who cares? Go make yourself rich. Go make yourself wealthy. Go make yourself not live paycheck to paycheck if it comes to finances. You chose to swipe the credit card. You chose to eat the Big Mac. All right. You chose to not look at the Bible. No one else did. Those choices are made by you. All right. It is our job as parents to lead our kids, like Proverbs tells you, lead them on the correct path. Parents, we need to own that. When our kids are little, they need us. But if you're an adult, you need you. That's what you need. You don't need anybody else. You need you. Maybe I'm a bit aggressive on that, Dave, but I think I'm pretty damn accurate.
I feel like firing off a confetti cannon right now. That was great. Wow.
It's just I'm just tired of people complaining about shit that they can control. All right? If I don't make no money, guess what, Dave? It's my fucking fault. It's not your fault. Oh, Dave couldn't record on a Tuesday. It's his fault that I didn't get anything done today. Give me a break. Go to work. Seriously, go to work. And the other thing that's going to make you better, which is going to tie into the second part of this conversation, let's get this clear. Dave, you are 100 times better than me at this. Slow down on social media. The politics are over. Go on social media and post a picture of your family. Stop worrying about who the hell comments on it. All right, if you are going on social,
I got an idea.
Go ahead.
I got an idea. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I got an idea for social media for somebody. Because what you just said, post a picture of your family. How about this? How about you go through social media and see who you actually know? How many of those people do you actually know? Have you had a full-on conversation with at some point? Or how many people were just added, either bots or just random people that you like the picture, that it doesn't matter? I challenge you to go through your social media accounts, find people that you actually know, and if you don't know them, get rid of them. Just get them right out of it. And then you can trim your list there from more. Find the things that you really care about and that make you better. One of the things because I don't do social media, one of the things I miss from social media is seeing pictures that you post to the kids. And now, granted, you send them to me because you know I'm not on there, so you send me cool stuff. But I miss seeing pictures of people's families and them doing fun stuff. That's really cool to see. But all this other nonsense, like the memes, and it's just garbage that goes into your mind, and it's just such a time suck when you could be doing something better. Maybe you're not sitting on the couch scrolling Instagram. Maybe you are going outside and getting your first walk in that you haven't walked in ages, and you're 100 pounds overweight. Go get a walk in instead of scrolling Instagram. Or maybe go get a part-time job and start chopping into your debt or working yourself towards financial freedom. Social media is just sucks. Sorry, go ahead.
You know, in this whole conversation stemmed from a conversation we had a few days back. You know, the election was a week ago. And then it was like 2 days later, and I called you in the morning, or you called me when you were on your workout. And I said, dude, I admit it. I got so suckered in to the fucking election on Tuesday. Like Tuesday night, I was like this.
We all did.
Twitter, refresh. And the next morning, I woke up to this epiphany, and I said, Dave, I got suckered into that bullshit. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who's in power. I still had to go to sleep. I still had to wake up. I still had to make my breakfast. I still had to go outside and use my legs to do my workout. And I said, that's it, man. It's just such, like you said, maybe the best time suck. It's such a time suck. All those things of me staring at my phone for 2 hours on election night, I could have freaking done anything. I could have played Monopoly with the kids. I could have went and did something else. I could have made a couple more phone calls or sent a few more emails. No, I chose to be an asshole loser and sit on my couch and scroll Twitter to see who was winning fucking Congress seats.
You know, one thing that stood out to me this past week, and you know, I don't want to get called heartless because I'm not. So, you know, I feel terrible for the people that lost their jobs. I think it's awful. Mm-hmm. It's sad to see. I hope they all rebound and find something great, that they have better job, better career, better family life, things that make them better. But the fact that Meta cut 11,000 jobs this past week, 13% of their workforce, okay, their stock is down 73% this year. That is encouraging to me in the sense that people aren't falling for it as much anymore. And they're starting to realize, you know, the truth behind social media and the things that are happening. And this metaverse, they put all their cards in on this metaverse thing. They want people to live in this virtual reality, essentially. And that, to me, showed that, you know, people are stepping away from it a little bit and starting to get outside and do some of those things, live in the real world. Mm-hmm. The real world where you control the outcome. Yep. That was great to see. Again, feel terrible that people lost their jobs. It's never a good thing. And I certainly wish them all the best. But hopefully that's a sign that we're coming down off of this social media thing.
Yeah, and the other thing I would say I feel bad for is last week, and I don't know, Dave and I, we don't invest in cryptocurrency. Like, that's not something we do. And last week, if you follow any news, any of the main news is Fox News, CNBC, there was this major crypto trading platform that essentially like ran out of money because people were making withdrawals because there was a selling run on Bitcoin and Ether and all this other stuff. And people lost fortunes. And I feel bad for those people because, hey, I will say this. I know some crypto people that truly deep down inside believe in cryptocurrency. They really do believe that there is a place for it in the world. And I'm not going to disagree with them. They have their argument and they have their thoughts, and they're, you know, those people that truly believe there's a place for it. They're not saying we're replacing money, but there's a place for it. Okay. Those are the people that I feel so bad for. The people that I kind of don't feel bad for, I still feel bad for them because you don't never want to lose any money. But the people the meme people, to the moon, blah, 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 invest in this. And then you lose your freaking money and you're like, what the hell happened? Okay. So this brings up a good point. Like, we got to find the middle ground, right? Whether it's your politics or it's your finances or your fitness, you got to find a middle ground, right? Because let me tell you something. One end of the spectrum, like you said, Facebook and Meta, right? AI and all this other shit. Crypto's that end of the spectrum, right? Everyone, digital currency, no more money, blah, 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 blah. The other end of the spectrum is, now I'm talking to you far right-wingers, okay? So everyone that wants to politically accuse me of being a conservative, a right-winger, we're not going back to the Stone Age, people. You don't need to invest all your money in gold and silver, okay? So there you go. There's my argument. You don't need to be a far right-winger and say, we need to, you know, porridge and sticks and bricks and gold and silver. And we don't need crypto to be the only thing, all right? We have to find the middle ground. And that's what this country needs. Go ahead, Dave. I know you want to say something.
Yeah, you're right. We do have to find a middle ground because we have been trending too far towards the tech side. Okay, now there's a place for technology, and some things are absolutely amazing. We're able to do this. We're sitting on opposite ends of the country. We're able to do something like this. That's amazing. We can FaceTime with grandparents and things like that, which is awesome. But, you know, I go into Walmart. They just redid our Walmart here. Okay. They left, I think, 2 regular registers, and they must have put in 30 self-checkouts.
Wow.
And 2 people managed the self-checkouts. Okay. So those jobs are gone for people. Gone. And Walmart's not the only place doing that stuff. You go into McDonald's. You go into McDonald's, you got to order on a kiosk when you go in. There's nobody there to actually take your order. There's all these different things. I mean, I remember when I was at the U of A, we did a thing on AI, and somebody came in from the McDonald's, and they said that they're getting to the point where they want to be able to test facial recognition on the drive-thru. So when you come up, it can suggest to you the things that you've had in the past. Okay? Those types of things are scary. And it's taking jobs away from people that need those jobs, okay, to help, support themselves and give themselves the lives that they're working towards. What a great first-time job for a kid coming out of school and go to McDonald's work or whatever, go to Walmart, stock some shelves, do those things. Those things are all being replaced. You go to most big box stores now, and the Zamboni that cleans the floor isn't operated by anybody. It's a robot. We were talking about the election earlier. Arizona's still counting votes, right? I mean, using the Stone Age, back in the day, we never had a problem counting votes. You used to have the election results that night. We have all this technology now. They can't print ballots. They can't do this. Nothing works.
Yep.
So what are we doing? We do have to find a middle ground because we're going way too far that way. We need to bring it back. We need to get people jobs, things that they can do, that they're good at. I mean, I know you like this. I like going in the store, being able to have a conversation with somebody. Casey laughs at me all the time when I go in and I call the person on the other edge of the counter by name. I see their name tag. I call them by name. I like having that conversation with someone, that interpersonal connection. So we do. We need to rein that in. And as people, we need to seek those things out and kind of say, we need to stop this because it's not good for society.
Yeah, I know. And you're right. You're 100% right. And I'm glad you expanded on that, because you need a middle ground. You have to have a middle ground in your faith and your finances and your fitness, like we do. You have to have a middle ground as a parent. You gotta have to know to negotiate, and it's just, the crux of this conversation is the common denominator is you. You are the common denominator in every equation. You choose to do the technology. You chose to do the fitness or not. You chose to do the money. You chose to do the faith. The common denominator is you. And I want to tie that into the final thing I want to talk about today is what's going on here, people. We got 6 weeks till the new year. It's time to start planning. You got to start planning your business model. If you own a company or you work for a company or you're commission-based, whatever it is, you need to start planning your finances out. Don't go into debt for the holidays. What are you doing next year that's going to change your family tree? What are you going to do? What's your budget? What's your plan, right? That's your finances. What's your faith? All right. Are you going to try a new church out because you haven't gone to church? Are you going to go to the old church? Are you going to try to reignite some of that drive in your faith? All right. We're not that far from the new year. And that's when everybody, Dave, as you know, does New Year's resolutions. I'm not saying, first of all, I'm not telling you to wait 6 weeks until January 1st, because that's absolutely not what I'm saying. Start right now, but you still need to have a plan, is what I'm saying, for next year. Because it's going to be Thanksgiving. And then all of a sudden, you're going to work for a couple weeks, and you're like, oh, Christmas week. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then it's Christmas. And then you're like, oh, shit, the day after Christmas is return day. And then it's like, shit, 4 or 5 days. It's New Year's, woohoo, party. And all of a sudden, it's January 2nd, you wake up, and you're where you are on November 15th, right? What's your plan? This is a challenge. I'm challenging you. I'm asking you. I'm telling you, make a plan for the rest of this year. Make a plan for next year, because when you have a routine, when you have plans, it happens. You can do whatever you want. But if you don't have a plan, if you don't have a roadmap, if you don't have a compass to go with it, then you're just going to wander in circles and be right where you are. And then you're going to wake up on January 2nd, woohoo, gung-ho. But guess what? You never developed a plan for January 2nd. And then it's going to be January 5th, and then 12th, and then 18th, and then February 5th. And guess what? Then it's summertime again. You're still the revolving door of the same shit, different day.
Yeah. And if you're in a business like you are, commission-based business, sales business, where you're reaching out and you're talking to people, you're making phone calls, don't let the holidays be an excuse to not do those things.
Yep. Continue
to build your business. The end of the year is a tough time for people because they get caught up in all the things that are going on in the holidays. I don't want to bother people. I want to do this. And I can take a day off today. No, people are home more when the holidays are in full swing. So you might have a better chance of getting a hold of somebody. making those connections, establishing those things. Because if you don't, man, that pipe's going to get dry. So if you were in a business for yourself, you got to keep pushing through the holidays. You cannot let that be an excuse to not continue pushing yourself.
Absolutely. So, and you brought up sales, you brought up commission. I'm tying in today's book recommendation. Okay. Today's book recommendation is Lessons I've Learned the Hard Way, So You Don't Have to, by Brad Lea. Got a great podcast, the Brad Lea podcast. It is what it is his famous line, right? And this book is to help people, okay? It's supposed to help people avoid challenges, heartaches, pitfalls. If you've been through divorce, if you haven't been through divorce, this guy right here is a multimillionaire, okay? And he's done it the hard way. He goes through his pitfalls, things that he screwed up on. Yeah, kids not getting married, this, that, the other, divorce, bad business relationships, okay? This guy is a great salesman. So if you follow this show and you're in commission, great book to read. If you're looking for a kickstart, some motivation, great read, okay? I first heard of Brad Lea years ago in the car business because he used to teach, do sales seminars at car dealerships, and he created a company called Lightspeed, the multi-bazillion-dollar company now. He's got a great podcast. He brings on entrepreneurs. That's really his shtick. He brings on a bunch of entrepreneurs and, hey, how'd you make your money? What's your story? Da da da. Kid was a hard worker. He's not a kid anymore. He's probably 50 now, Brad, but hard worker. Grew up, splitting wood, and but he always was a hustler, right? It's it ties in today. You want to make more money, you start a side hustle, right? He'd mow lawns, he'd split wood, he'd do all this shit when he was in high school to make extra cash before he could get his ass out of town and go make some real money. And he started his business in sales, in car sales. Okay, so check that book out. That book is really aimed towards people in sales. I've been in sales for years and years and years. Dave, you've been in sales for a little while, in and out, kind of. It's a great book to read if you're in sales. It's a great book to read if you're looking to motivation. He talks about his morning routine. I love that. Maybe my favorite part of the book. The morning, he calls it the $1 million morning. I love that part because I am a morning routine guy through and through, day in, day out, 365. So check it out, by Brad Lea. Anything else, Dave? Got a top? Anything else you want to touch?
No, that was good. He does a great podcast. I'm sure the book's amazing, so we'll pick that one out. So that's a good recommendation.
Yeah, man. We appreciate everyone listening. If you can, share the show, like the show, give us a review, 5 stars, please. Send us in comments, feedbacks. We like doing episodes where we get customer questions too, or not customer, but listener questions. Sorry, I'm in mortgage mode right now. But listener questions. I think it's cool. It gives us feedback. So please, thank you very much. We're closing in towards the end of the year, and we're here to help. This is a movement, guys. It's a full force fathers movement. We want dads. We just want to see dads crushing it out there, living a full force life. So, Dave, take us home.
Yeah, everybody get out there, live the full force life, take stock of what you're grateful for. Chat with your kids, find out what they're grateful for. Use this time of the year to really be appreciative of the things that you have. And have a great week. See you next week. Thanksgiving's coming. It's almost here. Best holiday of the year.